Hi there, and welcome to Green Shoe Conversations, episode 39. I'm Stephanie Cochran, the Executive Director for the Green Shoe Foundation, and I'm so excited you guys are joining us today. I have some really fun friends that are also with me from my team. Introducing Miss Amanda Newland, our social media marketing guru director. She likes how I always make up a title every time.
Good morning.
Every time I introduce her. And you guys know Miss Rebecca Holt, one of our therapists. Hey, ladies, how are y'all?
Hello.
Hello.
So we are actually continuing a conversation. So we're going to act like we're just jumping right in the middle of a conversation that we had probably back last summer on social media and being ourselves. So in kind of light of our theme this year, talking about authenticity, we wanted to kind of pick this conversation back up. So again, if you haven't been listening to our podcast, stop, go back, grab that one. Or just keep listening and jump on in with us with this. Social media, again, has kind of been in the limelight maybe lately for the new documentary that came out on Netflix, The Social Dilemma. Over the last, year, especially with COVID, there's been a lot of things discussed about social media and all the different social platforms and different things. But in the scope of authenticity, it's such a great thing to talk about how we can use social media for good. Maybe that's a good way of saying it. We're not here to bash social media and talk about that, but really examining how authenticity kind of fits into that. Now, Amanda, this is kind of your world, with this. You run and have developed all of our social media here at Green Shoe. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, you do such an amazing job of really highlighting and promoting who we are and being this positive voice out there for not just Green Shoe, but mental health advocacy and all of that. So I'll kind of kick it off to you to kind of get your thoughts on this.
Well, I kind of want to back up a little bit because this is stemming really from the documentary, and it really does a great job pointing out how people have used social media to connect. But it also demonstrated how they're using it to just get attribution from people. And with that, sometimes that can create more like negative emotions. I don't really know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of one of the issues, again, highlighted in that documentary, but also not just in that. I mean, there's been some congressional hearings and really talking about how, and I want to say too, in that, middle school age, high school, early adulthood, how it really is affecting the mental health, causing folks to exacerbate depressive anxiety issues, things like that. And, that's kind of been talked about in making that negative aspect.
Yeah, for sure. And like we were talking about earlier is like, likes is definitely the new currency, and people are thriving off of that right now. Like, how many likes did I get? Are there enough comments? Are we being shared enough? And then it seems like if there's not enough, you're taking down that photo because you didn't get enough value from what you're putting out there. Like, you're trying to be vulnerable, but you didn't get enough likes, so I got to take it down. So, and it's just kind of creating this negative approach to social media. And that's not what social media was originally built for. It was built to connect positively and to share photos with family and to see that friend that you haven't seen in 10 years that you went to high school with. So it's just interesting how this documentary really kind of took a turn to make people more aware of what is going on with social media and also how people are treating it.
Right. And I love that fact because you're right. And again, I'm showing my age here, and I know that's kind of a joke too with my Facebook or even MySpace. I don't know if anybody remembers that back in the day.
MySpace was awesome. You could decorate your page. Music would play. I miss MySpace.
Yeah. But again,
times.
Like you said, it was a way to connect with people. And I know I love that about Facebook. I have friends from high school that I haven't seen since high school that live across the country that I still have a relationship with, that we talk and it even promotes even more to where now we video talk, things like that. Getting involved in different organizations and fun groups has been something, and inside those groups, I've got people that I connect with from around the world. So there's so many positive things with that.
Absolutely.
But I also have to admit, I'm not someone who I personally don't post a lot.
Yeah. I don't
I
either.
I know for some, it's almost like I have to do so many posts a day. And how did I filter that picture or crop that picture or make that picture look, the right
Yeah.
way?
Absolutely.
To get the comments.
Mhm.
And then some people can be so cruel with their comments,
Mhm.
And use that to attack people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of goes into just the highlight reel of everyone. Like you're constantly like posting your wins, your accomplishments, when you look your best, and you want to show that because those are really great things. But there's not a lot of authenticity sometimes, like the opportunity to be raw. Like I just woke up, dark circles and things like that. But it's just interesting that we're constantly comparing like our behind the scenes to everyone's highlight reel. And that's not always like there's a filter there. And we know there's a filter there, but yet we still let that affect us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think about, in the conversations we've had about authenticity, where can you be authentic? Where do you feel least authentic? And kind of bringing that into that social media lens. There's a level of authenticity you can show on social media, but there's a level of authenticity you're never going to be able to portray on social media because it's digital. There's a lot that gets lost in translation in that. But I think whenever you're measuring, like, do I feel like I'm being authentic on social media? Is that something I need to change? I think about the model in that, and specifically boundaries, because I'm with you guys. I don't really post that much. Like I might post something, and my grandma's on social media, so I love it because she gets to see things and interact and post interesting things. But it's we have to have healthy boundaries with that as well, and have that knowledge that what I show on social media isn't who I am. I know who I am. And sometimes with that talk of authenticity, developing who you are in real life, not necessarily developing a social media persona of who you want to look like, because there's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It makes me think of when you talk about that, Rebecca, looking at the core issues and self-esteem.
Yeah.
And, we talk so much and trying to get the message out about, we are inherently worthy, point blank. But people will use social media for that other esteem and trying to make themselves feel good. And again, that doesn't build up and fill the well of who we really are.
Yeah. There are not enough likes or shares in this world for you to get in touch with your self-esteem, because it's your self-esteem.
Right.
It's an internal job. It's an inside job. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And so absolutely. But people, I think, oftentimes can reflect on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one thing that what I liked about the documentary that it pointed out, these platforms were not developed to cyberbully people or any of that. There was such a positive force with these platforms. Again, it was about connection, and we know all about that this past year. We've talked so much about trying to connect. It's funny you talk about the likes, Amanda, and one of the guys on there, from the Facebook way back, said that when they developed the like, it was meant to promote positivity. And so it's not the social media platforms that have turned it, it's us. We've kind of made it be negative, and how we have used it as the users.
Yeah, there was an example I heard that was so great. It's like, you don't blame Samsung TV for a bad TV show. It's social media. It's like, it's us, it's people that are doing that. And so I think just kind of increasing your awareness to that and changing your online experience is huge, just to kind of get back that positive feeling that you need.
Yeah. So you can use social media, and I'm guilty of going down the TikTok rabbit holes, but I also find joy in some of that. I love watching the reunion. shots, where people are coming back from trips or haven't seen their parents in forever,
Oh, yeah,
especially
yeah.
with COVID, and they're flying and they do all that. So those are fun, and seeing those connections happen.
Yeah.
With everything.
I'm like the rescue stories of like, they found a little piglet on the side of the road, which why that's never happened to me yet. I have no idea, but like rescue animals. So I love seeing that.
You need to come up to North Edmond. There is a famous pig up here that gets out, and he has to get rescued constantly.
You wouldn't go back home.
On social media, there's like this whole thing about Bart's out again, and there he is walking on the side of the road. So yeah, if you want to find a pig on the side of the road, there is, you can come here.
That'd be like a dream come true. So this little piglet on the side of the road, and then
he's not little, but this is a pig.
One of these days I'm gonna get one. That's funny.
So how can we use our interact in social media, still be our authentic selves, and still protect ourselves? Because again, some of this, like you said, Rebecca, is setting those boundaries to protect our mental well-being. So how can we do that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it goes back, I always say this, but awareness. So, if you're noticing that there's some sense of worthlessness that comes up related to your social media, take a look at that, explore that. What is it about that? I think the other thing, and we've talked about a few things. One thing I do is I put a limit on my social media. So my phone tells me if I've been on social media for a certain amount of time. And then making sure, because so many of our relationships on social media, we don't get to connect with people the same way. We've had, it's been such a benefit this last year, but, taking some time to step back and say, is there someone that I need to connect with in person? Or even picking up the phone and calling them to see what's going on. So, just taking an assessment. And if we use the 5 core issues, how is it impacting your self-esteem? How is it impacting your boundaries? Are you walled up? Maybe you want to be, that's okay. Maybe that's the healthiest, safest thing to do. You just boundaryless, you just put it all out there, and then that reality component is, is my social media showing really who I am? And you might even think about others. Is that reality when I see their social media? And so just reminding yourself, it's not always a true picture of what's really going on with you or with someone else. In independency, do I need it? Kind of looking at that. And then that moderation of just like talking about piglets on the side of the road, we can be playful and spontaneous in it. But at the same time, we have to have that moderation piece that, I've got to have a limit on it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Absolutely. And there's, and I'll quote her all day long, but Bailey Parnell, and I've told people this, is she says to audit your social media the same way, like you watch what you put in your mouth, watch what you put in your head. And I think that's just amazing. So if you have, like what you're saying, that awareness, you can create a better online experience by, controlling your friends, you can have the ability to unfollow them, but not necessarily fully disconnect from them if you're finding like a little bit of stress or anxiety when that person is in your thread. And then you can also follow like groups and pages like that will give you that better online experience, kind of motivate you, and just have like that joyful feeling that you need when you're on social media.
And that's a great point, because you can choose the groups you follow and almost develop your own thread and be that positivity, be on social media and be authentic. It doesn't always have to be roses and unicorns. And one of the biggest things we've talked about with this authenticity piece is we have pain, we have sadness, and part of it is being in that, because the gift that come, the gifts that come from that are the growth and the changes and the awareness. And so I know sometimes when I've had friends reach out and make a post on social media just about a difficult time, you're able to get that support or say, yeah, you know what, I feel that way too. Especially through some of this COVID, I feel the anxiety, I feel the stress, or, last week when we were all locked up in our house because of the 2 feet of snow, I remember all of us talking about, wow, I kind of feel the isolation, even more so, and being out there with, some of the not so filtered stuff, with everything. And Amanda, I know this month too, you're going to be putting out some resources on our social media too. And there is an article that talks about kind of some things that you can do to help with that. And just like what you talked about, Rebecca, limiting your social media screen. And I love the fact I didn't even know that, yeah, you can set your phone to kind of give you an alert. One of the other things too was watch your notifications. I mean, how many times does your phone go off from all your different apps, with different things? And of course, my phone's connected to my watch. So I'm constantly getting buzzed, to go play my Sudoku or, about my Facebook. And I thought, oh yeah. So this morning, after you sent me that article, Amanda, I went to my phone and I set on what notifications what do I really need? I don't need my phone constantly going off trying to get me to come do something and interact with that. So that way I can stay more connected into my day and with actual people.
Yeah, I love that and that's really taking your control back, your power back by doing some of those little things. If I feel like social media is too much in my life, sometimes I'll just delete it from my phone, or the only place I can check it is on my computer. It's not accessible.
Yeah.
And getting that control and power back.
Absolutely. And I've done that before because there was a hard disconnect for me because it's like I'm on it professionally and then I'm home and I'm on it personally. So I was always social media. So I got to a point where I just completely deactivated my account and then just created a business profile so I could still manage my professional accounts. I mean, sometimes you really just need to fast from social media. And it's amazing how refreshing it is. And then when you go back into it, you just kind of, it doesn't matter anymore. That's fine.
Yeah. Such great things. Anything else, ladies, to kind of?
If anybody is giving away free piglets, please let me know.
I'll pick them up and bring them to you, Amanda.
Yes.
And Stephanie will retrieve them.
Yes, awesome. And those little piglets grow to be pigs.
That's okay.
Okay. Just we have the full awareness and authenticity of that piglet.
I mean, I was thinking about getting another dog anyway. So if it grows up to be 80 pounds, that's about the same thing.
Yeah. Dog, pig,
Enzo needs to grow up with something. So
yes, we will definitely have to do a podcast on our farm animals. So soon. Yes. That may be.
Can we go to a petting zoo?
Well, I was about to say, maybe that's when, as we're getting out of our pandemic, we can actually do an on location podcast.
Oh, yes. Team meeting at a farm rescue. I'm in.
Hey, I am so in. So yeah.
I can feel Zach shaking his head no right now. No.
Well, story for another day, another podcast about the goats I brought home. And I'll let you know all about how that worked out one time. But again, if you want to reach out to us, you can definitely find us at our Facebook page. And we are also on Twitter and on LinkedIn and Instagram. But make sure our website at www.greenshoe.org to get information about our retreats, our parenting class, which we talked about last week, or a way to reach any of us. Let us know your thoughts, any other conversations you would like to see us have. And thanks for joining us. And we will see y'all next week.